And we'll start straight with his only support rune. Like, he has other version, but this one is only for support. You will want to take Resolve with Aftershock, which allows you to go into more aggressive plays thanks to you having all that, oh my god, armor. And yeah, it deals a bit of damage, but you mostly take it for the damage reduction that you get. Then you will want to take Demolish because there is not much of an option really. Like Font of Life doesn't provide you much functionality because you don't gain any health, and Shield Bash is even more useless. So Demolish it is. Then you will want to take Bone Plating because even though, okay, you can take Bone Plating or Second Wind. Again, Second Wind is great into poking lines. Uh, Bone Plating if there is all any enemy botline comp. But most of the time, even when they are poking, I would go for Bone Plating with this build because you will be unstoppable for that few seconds when you're killing someone. And next we got Unflinching because again, you I guess that you could try to use Overgrowth to get like 1 or 2 AD, but it's not useful. And again, you can heal a bit more with your passive, but not so useful. So Tenacity it will be. And for secondary runes, you will take Domination with Zombie Ward and Ultimate Hunter, because your ultimate is a game changer, and Zombie Ward serves you really well. And basically, destroying and building totems is your only typical support play you will be making. And of course, you will also take two Adaptive Forces and Armor or Magic Resist, depending on the enemy team comp. Mostly Armor, but you know, AP bot laners are still a thing. For the other belt we have is his Hail of Blades build. This is the one you will be going on mid lane, but you can use it on bot lane too because it gives you even more uh, threat level in the early game. Basically, Hail of Blades speaks for itself. Pyke's auto attacks are one of the strongest early game. Then you will want to go for Cheap Shot because you got two CC abilities, which works really nice. And if you save them, you can activate it twice a fight. I would recommend it more than Sudden Impact because you have one small dash. Then you will want to take Eyeball Collection on mid lane, on bot lane, Alex. Support, you will of course want to go Zombie Board. And lastly, Ultimate Hunter again. And you will take Resolve as your other rune for again some of that healing. On mid lane, I would usually go for the second wind, and you know, boat plating is still an option on bot lane. And unflinching as always, small runes stay the same. And that's everything. I'll see you in the game with everything else. Okay, and here we are. So, as always, I'll start with summoners. You will want to take Ignite and Flash, because first off, Flash is Flash, everybody uses it, apart from, Hecarim, sometimes Shaco. And Ignite has really great interaction with Pyke, because what it allows you to do is, your ultimate is an execute, but it scales from current health of enemies. So if they happen to have Soraka or something like this, you really greatly can negate it with Ignite and secure your kills. So I would probably never change his summoners. Now the items. On support, you of course want to start with steel shoulder guards because you will have that bonus AD at the start, and there's really no other option for Pyke. And it will allow you to be useful in lane other way than just killing enemy bot laner, because with that execute on minions it works really nice, and with Pyke high AD you can get them much sooner than some other supports. Then here it is. Recommended items. Uh, First item you will want to build is 80% of the time Duskblade, because first off you need to build AD and lethality. So Duskblade allows you to do this really well, and also its mythic passive grants you ability haste. So you will be able to spam your abilities more often, which on support works really nice. Plus you got, that bonus damage and you're invisible, but that's not the main point why you're taking this as a Pyke. Another option is to take Prowler's Claw, even though I would recommend this more on mid lane, since first off you get additional dash, which is awesome by itself, and with Pyke who already has uh basically by basically another dash, he can be camouflaged and run away. This allows him to get that attacking dash and save his E if he would need to. Problem with this is the mythic passive. 90% of the time I take Duskblade because it grants you the ability haste, and your abilities are, at least your Q, is quite powerful, so you want to have it. Lethality is also great, but as I said, you can take it on mid lane because you don't need so many of abilities, because you will want to deal the damage. On bot lane, you are there to support. Then for boots, you of course wanna get mobbies because you're not so tanky to take tabbies. You get nothing from sorcerers, yada yada yada. Tabbies are great, you can roam to other lanes easily, always take them. And here we are in the purple option. On bot lane, you always want to take Umber Glaive as your second item. It pairs greatly with your. Hope I took it. Oh, I didn't. Well, it pairs awesomely with your zombie ward, so you will be able to take everything you see. Plus, you will be getting sweepers, so you just want to take control of every vision in the game. So that is for support. On mid lane, you want to take Yumus again for better roams, chasing enemies, escaping. It's awesome, and if you combine it with your W, you will be moving like a Sonic. Next, uh, we will have, most of the time I would recommend Edge of Night. Again, both lines. First off, Spell Shield is really powerful, and with Pyke where you are really nimble, it works greatly. Only problem is the bonus health, but at least you'll gain some AD. And next, here comes the funny part. You will want to take, oh my god, D-Dens, Dev-Dens, on mid lane. Because, again, ability, haste, armor, attack damage, all you want. And the survivability is great because you will take decreased damage thanks to your passive, and you can basically deny the rest of the damage with Dev's Dance. So I would take that. And lastly, and this goes only for mid lane, You can still go Tiamat, and most of the time you will be forced to, even though I'm not a fan, since the rework where you can get the auto attack reset. But you want to get this pretty early if you want to take Tiamat. So you have some ability to push line because your only other option is your auto attacks. So you are pretty weak laner from this point. And then you can build it into Ravenous Hydra. Because again, not tanky, da, da, da. And this could be your last item on, you know, on mid lane. So this would be your mid lane build. We talked about support before. So I guess that's everything for items, and we can get to the abilities. So let's start with your passive. First off, you will generate 25 to 50% of your uh, of damage dealt to you over some duration. As you can see right now, it generates up to 2600. So Pyke will be so fucking strong. This is in late game and he's not basically strong in late game, but it scales really greatly. So you how you wanna use it is basically anytime you get hit, you usually want to store it, your gray health, and when the time comes, you just press your W, heal all that damage, and attack your enemy. Other option is, of course, every time you get hit, you run away, and if you have your second wind, you heal the rest of the damage you've taken. But I would mostly recommend getting the higher damage and then just come back with full health because it's at least more fun. The other part of your ability uh, stops you from getting bonus health, which is turned into AD. It's, as you can see, 14 health is AD. So right now, I've got health from Edge of Night. It's 325, and I've already got some value out of it. This ability but forces Spike to build AD, but it works nicely. It's, in my opinion, good trade-off. Problem is that once 10 minutes passes, you can't be tanky. You just gonna be sitting duck once you get CC'd. So you want to play carefully. And that's, I believe, everything. Let's get to some more of his other abilities. Oh my god, I'm so stubborn. Yeah. Well, let's start with Q. It has two options. First, if you press it and release your button within 1 second, you just step in front of yourself and hit one enemy. It prioritizes champions, so if they're standing in minion wave, you will always hit them. Also, it deals more damage than the hook, which everybody knows their Pyke has hook. So this one deals more damage. As you can see, that's 476, and if I pull them, it's the same because, oh, they changed that. Okay, I lied to you. Before it dealt more damage. I just didn't got new info. Well, uh, then after the 1 second, you get your hook. When you use it, you will be slowed by 30%, and you can release the hook to pull enemies. You just young them towards yourself. Thing to note is that you will always drag them the same distance. So if he is far there, he goes the same. If I'm standing next to him, He just goes behind me like I'm singed. And that is the most important part to know, that they will go distance no matter how far they are and no matter how where you are. Next, also it has 90% slow, which works really nicely with your E, where it's the bike's most basic combo where you basically pull them, and while they're slowed, you E behind them and stun them. I would, of course, take this as your first ability and max it first because it deals nice damage, has great usage, and every time you land a hook, you should be able to grant team to your allies if they're around. Then we got your W, which is an instant camouflage, and also it grants you a lot of movement speed. So just now I want to show you how it works greatly with Yomus. It works basically like this. And you're just sprinting around. You will get decreasing speed, which I think it starts at, yeah, 100 and goes down as you can see. It also scales with vitality, so that's a really nice thing. But when you pair with Yomus, you will just be from top lane to mid lane. I've counting, it's like 15 seconds, even less. But you just move so fast with these two. So first off, you can use it to, when you're coming to line, you see enemy liner, you just drop this and sprint to them, kill them, you can go home, you did your part. Uh, Another part is that they know that you're there because they see these sharks around them. You can use this, so because if you're, for example, hidden, you see enemies ganking, enemy jungler ganking bot lane. You don't even have to engage because people are usually really scared of Pyke. So you just drop your W, are in a far away, they just see this, and they may decide to run away because they're scared of you. So you can use it like a mind game too. Next we got his E, which allows you to dash, and after a short distance, enemies between the shadow left behind you and you will get stunned. You can move freely. So let's go back to the Yumu's W, except I fucked up. So Yumu's EW, it can travel really far distance. So that is good to know that you can freely move and choose where your target will be. Also, if you flash, the shadow will still go for you. So let's just say that I'm gonna dash behind this guy here. I I pressed E instead of flash. I'm gonna get so wrecked after this video. This is what I wanted to show you. Your flash fair pairs nicely with this because the, what is it called? Phantom. Phantom has travel speed, so you can make turns with it. Another useful thing to note is that when you're near a terrain, if your cursor gets behind half of that terrain, you will go through. So let's say right here, you're able to travel this distance quite easily. One of the best is, again, if you're playing mid, you can just stand right here, even here, where you have when you can ensure that they don't see you from this bush right here, and you just go here, flash, stun enemy liner, pull them, and finish them off with your teammates. I'm so rusty. Well, and now we're getting to Pike's signature move, his ultimate. Basically, you execute anyone who is below certain amount of health. Right now it's 800. So yeah, I don't know what to say to it. Pyke is just really strong thanks to this ability. It's why he is mostly played, and it works great. But for some numbers, uh, first off, when you're upgrading his ability, all you're decreasing is the time because it scales with level. With each level you get, you will deal more damage to enemies. So that's why you want to snowball with Pyke, because a higher level you are, the more damage you deal, and can get Soraka from like 3/4 of her health. Also, this is, in my opinion, the only hard mechanic about Pyke is that you must hit with that cross. So if I would hit like this, I hit both of enemies. But I've seen players thinking that they can basically hit in a circle. So it was not two enemies, but I've seen someone doing like this, and here are the dummies really close, but you just need to hit the sides. I think that in the gameplay from the start you can see how I try to use this uh, cross hit and hit Kerala. Well, and of course, when you kill someone, it can be cast again in 20 seconds, so it's a great ability for pentakills. Also, and this is why Pyke can be played on support role. When you kill someone, well, execute, you will give one friendly ally, basically the one who dealt damage last to the enemy, bonus gold. So, uh, so when you kill a support, your bot laner gets 300 gold just as you do, and it makes Pyke basically snowball two players. Also, if you kill the enemy alone, I believe that you get the bonus gold 2 times. So on mid lane, it's extremely strong. If someone comes to gank you and your jungle happens to be there, you kill them, you can get one alone and you have just so much gold advantage. Also, every time you execute someone, anyone else who is not executable will be instead dealt the damage as a physical. And it's, I think it's half, yeah, it's half of the damage. And yes, that's gonna be it, I guess. Now for some laning. First off, when you're in mid lane, you basically are forced to let other player do whatever he wants because you are extremely strong champion. You have one of the highest base HP early. You have high AD, but only way you can damage minions is with your auto attacks and your Q because your E doesn't allow you to damage anyone but champions. Everyone will be stunned, every unit you hit, but only champions are damaged. And your Q hits only one minion at a time, so you have no wave clear. That's why you want to go for Tiamat early. So basically you want to let enemy push if you must and try to, once you get to this sweet area around here, you just want to attack minions as fast as possible if you see that he's trying to push you under tower, because you will lose a lot of gold if he gets there. Now you do want to take care of enemy champions quickly. So once he pushes, you just want to engage. So you usually in mid lane you will be forced to go with your E first. It can be possible that he just doesn't hide behind his minion and you can yoink him with your Q, but most of the time you will have to engage with your dash. And that's it. Basically, after you are able to kill your laner, which you will be because it's strange, but many champions underestimate Pyke and think that they can 1v1 him because he's mostly played on support role. And once you do that, you recall, you get your first item, usually Dirk or Tiamat, and then you want to roam. I usually go for bot lane because most of the squishies are there and you can easily get them, but it's your choice. You can help your jungler with invades, anything. On bot lane, it is quite different. You want to push the lane because you have your support item and get your level 2 first. Then, thanks to your hook, you get enemy champion even if they're close to their tower. Let your ADC deal some damage, then you can dash behind them, stun them, use your health blades, and you're good. You have one kill. If they would happen to run away, you just ignite them because they will be so low that it's useless. And again, after you recall, if your ADC, I usually ask with Pyke because I always want to roam. Pyke is a roaming character support mid laner, and if any lane where you play him, you want to be roaming because you don't have the wave clear. And yeah, when you're on Dragon, you most of the time will try to attack it because unlike other supports, you have high damage, so you just attack the dragon, and sometimes you can even tank for your allies because if you get a bit lower, when enemies come, you still will have your gray health. And that's, I think, the basic stuff I can tell you for laning. Now let's get to some combos. First off, the most obvious one, you basically use your Q, and when the animation is going and you know that you're gonna hit, use your E, stun enemy, and then finish them off. It is really easy, and thanks to your Q having even early game, sorry, cooldown is fairly low, so you will be able to easily use it for a second time if enemy laner decides to fight back. If they don't, you will just get free damage, and second time you will kill them. Next is more of a roaming combo, where basically you usually will use your W, you don't have to, but will just come to your enemy, eat them, attack, and when they're running away, use your Q and pull them back. And again, start damaging them. And that is mostly it. I would, I can just tell you that most of the time I would always use the Q, allow the Q to charge up because basically if someone is, let's say that you have champion, yeah, okay. Only option is when you're basically, when you use your E and let's say you're in line, you use your E and the enemy champion is behind you. Then I would, if you know that you will kill him, you just quickly press your Q, slow them for 90%. They are mostly gonna be dead. If you know that they have some mobility spell or summoner ignite flash, you can wait for them to use that and then again use your Q to draw them back. but that is everything. For another option, you of course can do your phantom and then you use your flash at the last second, which allows you to change your target. So when someone, like, let's say that they have, I don't know, like Ash back here, and you have support up here, you just pretend that you're going for the support, and then you flash and get the Ash. Flash and get the Ash, yeah. If you trust your timing, you can obviously do it like where you hit support and stun them both. But you would have to prepare for this beforehand. It's not so easy to execute in game. And that is everything. Because like many people say that Pyke is mechanically hard. He's not. Pyke's not mechanically hard. Pyke has high mechanical ceiling. You can get so many things off, mostly with your E, like getting through so many small terrains in the game. You can go so far distances. I know about like half of them, and I'm able to execute like 80% of the half because that is probably most challenging thing. And of course, hitting your R. It's about mindset with Pyke. And with the mindset, I guess I helped you that when you're gonna be playing him, you want to be like a Pyke on the ground with I, not Epsilon. And see you in the next video. Subscribe if you want more content, like if you enjoyed, and let me know if there's any champion you would want. Or I will make Pantheon next and will spread assassin support all over the world. Bye!